I had a kind of reverse immigration process because I'm born here in the United States in New York, and my family's from Puerto Rico, my mother's side. And we would always go to Puerto Rico during the summer or during the holidays, get dressed up on the plane. You get dressed up on the plane those days. And then there's always this thing when the plane lands in Puerto Rico or any Latino country that everybody goes, "Yay, llegamos, estamos aquí." We didn't go into the water, we landed. But during a certain time, I think I was 9 years old, we had to move to Puerto Rico. And I was kind of like plucked out, thrown into going to school in Puerto Rico and speaking Spanish. One moment we were listening to the Beatles and rock and roll and all that, and the next thing I knew, it was Gran Combo and Trio Los Panchos, and all of that became part of my being growing up. And it was a very traumatic time for me because they used to call me Yankee and increíble. But now through a lot of therapy and, reaching into adulthood, those few years, those wonder years that I was there, and has made the identity that I am now as an adult. So everything that I live and breathe about the way I feel about music, the way I feel about culture, about food, those little seeds that were planted there that are cultural seeds that are part of who I am right now. People ask me all the time about role models and what it's like to be a role model, and it makes me uncomfortable. I guess the thing that I wanted to say about role models is, especially for an actor, is that you want to try to be as versatile as possible, and that means doing different kinds of roles. So if you have this kind of like role model flag that you're carrying around with you, I'm the good Latino that everybody has to look up for, it gets kind of old because some of the juiciest roles that have ever been written have been the bad guy from the wrong side of the tracks. And so you don't want to like knock yourself out of doing what you love as an actor because you're doing this role model thing. But the media plays a huge part in our lives. And those images that funnel you become important, especially to young people. It's not to say that we can't have it's negative, there can never be a negative image about Latinos because we have to deal with the good and the bad. But you need to have as many positive images out there so that the young people that are watching can aspire to something bigger and better. I remember there was a teacher that used to take us to go see plays in high school, when I was in high school. And when I saw Raul Julia for the first time on stage, it changed my life about the way I feel about what I could do. It was like permission to be an artist because I saw somebody on stage who came from the same background, was from the same island that my mother was from, and was doing Shakespeare and Shaw and had this beautiful accent and used that accent to his advantage and was talented above anything else. Every time I saw him in something, it was an acknowledgement to me that what you're thinking about doing in your life, you could do that too. I can aspire to that too. So when you're confronted with people and they talk about your work and the work that you've done, and they say, I became a lawyer because I remember when I was a little kid, I watched you on TV and you were this lawyer and you were the only guy out there. And when somebody gets to tell you that, as I got to tell Raul that he really affected my life, it's just like, besides your work as an artist, it's a little, cherry on the cake for you. It makes you feel good.